Most motorcycles are built to sell. These 12 were built like the engineers forgot anyone would ever need to replace them. In this video, we are breaking down the motorcycles that accidentally became legends, machines with overbuilt engines, transmissions, frames, and cooling systems that owners pushed past 100,000, 200,000, even 300 miles. We will show you exactly what made them so durable, what maintenance kept them alive, the weaknesses they still could not escape, and what these high-mileage survivors cost today. And trust me, the motorcycle waiting at number 1 still sounds completely unreal. Number 12. Suzuki DR650. Some motorcycles survive because owners protect them carefully. The Suzuki DR650 survives because Suzuki accidentally built it with the durability of farm machinery. Simple, understressed, almost immune to abuse. This motorcycle was never supposed to become a legend. It was designed as a practical dual sport, something capable of handling dirt roads, commuting, backcountry travel, and everyday riding without unnecessary complexity. But somewhere during development, Suzuki created a machine so mechanically conservative that riders slowly realized the motorcycle could absorb unbelievable punishment and still keep running. And the proof is how little it changed for decades. While much of the industry chased electronics, rider modes, massive screens, and increasingly complicated engineering, the DR650 stayed stubbornly mechanical. Air and oil cooling, carburetor fueling, steel frame, minimal electronics, no unnecessary systems, waiting to fail hundreds of miles from civilization. At the center sits a 644 cubic centimeter single-cylinder engine producing only moderate horsepower. And that modest output became the secret. The engine is barely stressed. Internal temperatures stay manageable. The gearbox feels massively over-engineered for the available power, and Suzuki's cooling system keeps the motorcycle dependable in brutal heat and slow-moving terrain. Owners regularly report these motorcycles crossing 100,000 miles with little more than oil changes, valve adjustments, air filters, and chain service. Even today, high-mileage examples commonly sell between roughly $3,500 and $6,000 because experienced riders know these engines are often nowhere near finished. It is not flawless. Neutral sending unit screws, aging seals, and dated suspension still exist. But the shockingly short failure list tells the real story. If these are the kinds of motorcycles that make you respect engineering a little differently, drop some hype in the comments. That support is exactly what keeps us digging past marketing hype and into the machines riders quietly keep alive for decades instead of replacing every few years. And the next motorcycle transformed that same philosophy into something riders trusted across entire continents. Number 11. Kawasaki KLR 650. If the Suzuki DR felt like farm equipment, the Kawasaki KLR 650 felt more like a survival tool disguised as a motorcycle. This machine did not become famous because it was refined or exciting. It became legendary because riders discovered it could survive punishment that bordered on ridiculous. Across deserts, mountain trails, flooded roads, and endless highway miles, the KLR developed a reputation for one thing: refusing to quit. At the center sits a 652 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled single-cylinder engine producing only modest horsepower. And that was intentional. Kawasaki never chased superbike numbers with this platform. The engine was tuned conservatively, the gearbox massively understressed, and the cooling system engineered to handle brutal long-distance abuse without constantly operating at its limits. That formula created extraordinary longevity. Adventure riders regularly documented these motorcycles crossing 100,000 miles on original engines with basic maintenance alone. Oil changes, valve inspections, air filters, cooling system, upkeep, the kind of simple mechanical routine older riders trust far more than complicated electronics packages. The steel frame was equally overbuilt. Heavy by modern standards, yes, but riders overloaded these motorcycles with luggage, tools, spare fuel, and camping gear until they looked more like pack animals than adventure bikes. Somehow, the KLR kept moving. And if that sounds overbuilt, wait until we reach a motorcycle later in this countdown whose engine became so absurdly durable that riders started treating 200,000 miles like the midpoint of its lifespan. What makes it even crazier is that it achieved those numbers with far more cylinders and complexity than this Kawasaki ever attempted. But that is later. And honestly, the KLR never needed complexity to earn respect. Its durability came from stubborn simplicity and the kind riders trust when breaking down is not an option. Of course, No legend is flawless. Every serious KLR owner knows about the infamous doohickey, the balancer chain tensioner weakness. Almost everyone upgrades. Some older models also developed oil consumption issues during sustained highway riding. But the fact that these are the most repeated complaints after decades of production says everything. Even high-mileage examples still command roughly between $2,500 and $5,500 because experienced riders understand something important. Mileage rarely scares a KLR owner. But that kind of rugged durability came with compromise. Single-cylinder vibration, modest highway comfort, and agricultural simplicity left some riders wanting a machine that could survive huge mileage without feeling primitive every mile along the way. That search leads directly to the next chapter, the motorcycle that helped teach the entire industry that reliability and refinement did not have to live separately. Number 10. Honda CB750. Some motorcycles became icons because they were powerful. The Honda CB750 became iconic because riders realized it could outlive almost everything around it. When Honda released this machine in the late 1960s, the world focused on the performance. The inline-4 engine, electric start, smooth delivery, and front disc brake technology. But hidden underneath that revolution was something even more important, an engine built with astonishing mechanical margins. The 736 cubic centimeter air-cooled inline-4 was engineered so conservatively that the motorcycle developed a reputation for near-automotive reliability. The gearbox was massively durable, the crankshaft over-prepared for the available power, and the engine produced only moderate stress for a 4-cylinder platform of its era. That combination changed motorcycling forever. While many competitors constantly demanded tuning and repairs, the CB750 simply kept running. Riders crossed states on them. Couriers abused them daily. Owners delayed maintenance far longer than they should have. Yet many engines still crossed 100,000 miles without internal rebuilds. Even today, clean high mileage examples commonly sell between roughly $4,000 and $12,000 depending on originality and condition, because collectors and longtime riders understand what this motorcycle represents. We have already talked about motorcycles surviving well past the 100,000-mile mark, but real reliability always looks different once you actually own the bike yourself. So let us know in the comments, what is the highest mileage motorcycle you have ever ridden or seen in person? And more importantly, what finally gave out first? Those real-world owner stories add context no spec sheet ever can. And the moment reliability itself became revolutionary, and the next motorcycle transformed that same philosophy into something even more relentless, a machine engineered for endless highway punishment without mechanical fear. Number 9. Yamaha FJR1300. By the early 2000s, most manufacturers had already accepted a trade-off. If a motorcycle delivered serious speed, something usually paid the price later. Engines wore faster. Heat became harder to manage. Long-distance mileage slowly exposed weaknesses hidden beneath the performance. Then Yamaha built the FJR1300. At the center sat a liquid-cooled inline-4 that produced serious highway power without ever feeling mechanically strained. Yamaha engineered the engine with unusually conservative internal tolerances, a massively durable transmission, and a shaft drive designed for endless touring punishment. While many sport motorcycles live near their limits, the FJR spent most of its life comfortably below them. That difference changed everything. Owners began stacking mileage figures that sounded almost unreasonable for a performance touring motorcycle. 100,000 miles became common. 200,000 no longer sounded impossible. Iron butt riders trusted these machines for non-stop interstate punishment because the motorcycle simply absorbed abuse without protest. And maintenance rarely became dramatic. Oil changes, coolant service, valve inspections, brake upkeep, and final drive. Servicing handled most long-term survival needs. The aluminum chassis also carried enormous touring weight with remarkable stability, even when overloaded with luggage and electronics. Of course, early models generated substantial engine heat around the rider's legs during summer travel. But compared to the mileage these motorcycles routinely survived, the weakness felt surprisingly minor. Today, high-mileage examples regularly sell between roughly $5,000 and $10,000 because experienced riders understand something important. An old FJR usually still has plenty of life left inside it. And the next motorcycle pushed durability even further into territory that started feeling less like transportation and more like industrial equipment built for global survival. Number 8. Yamaha Super Tenere 1200. Some adventure motorcycles were engineered to look ready for the end of the world. The Yamaha Super Tenere 1200 was engineered to actually survive it. This machine never relied on flashy stylings or outrageous horsepower figures to earn respect. Instead, Yamaha focused on something far less exciting in the showroom and far more valuable after 10 years of ownership: mechanical endurance. At the center sat a parallel twin designed with deeply conservative tuning. The power delivery felt calm, predictable, almost restrained. But hidden beneath that smooth character was a massively durable engine built to tolerate endless punishment without mechanical stress. Large internal components, strong cooling capacity, a robust transmission, and an exceptionally reliable shaft drive gave the motorcycle a reputation for absorbing brutal mileage without complaint. And riders tested that reputation everywhere: cross-country touring, desert travel, mud, rain, overloaded camping setups, remote highways, hundreds of miles from assistance. The Super Tenere kept going. Owners routinely pushed these motorcycles beyond 150,000 miles, with little more than fluid changes, valve inspections, cooling service, and basic preventative maintenance. Even heavily loaded examples remained remarkably stable at speed thanks to an overbuilt steel chassis and reinforced subframe. Its biggest weakness was weight. At low speeds, the motorcycle could feel enormous off pavement, but mechanically, catastrophic failures remained surprisingly rare. Today, high-mileage examples still command between roughly $6,000 and $11,000 because experienced riders understand exactly what this motorcycle became. The Super Tenere became known for stubborn reliability, but some riders wanted a motorcycle purpose built for crossing continents. That ambition led to the BMW R1150 GS, the adventure icon that helped define global touring culture. Number 7. BMW R1150 GS. This was the machine riders trusted when roads disappeared, fuel stations became uncertain, and the nearest mechanic might be hundreds of miles away. Deserts, mountain passes, border crossings, endless gravel. The R1150 GS earned its reputation because it kept surviving places capable of destroying lesser motorcycles. At the center sat an air and oil-cooled boxer twin engineered with unmistakably conservative philosophy. The horsepower figures were modest, but that was intentional. Large internal components, low operating stress, generous oil capacity, and relaxed highway revs allowed the engine to tolerate extraordinary mileage without feeling exhausted. And owners pushed these motorcycles hard. Fully loaded luggage systems, crash bars, auxiliary fuel tanks, camping gear, passenger weight, thousands upon thousands of touring miles across multiple continents. The motorcycle absorbed it all. Routine servicing usually remained straightforward. Valve adjustments, fluid changes, throttle synchronization, clutch inspection, and final drive maintenance. Meanwhile, the shaft drive and uniquely stable suspension systems helped the chassis remain composed during brutal long-distance punishment. Of course, no legend is flawless. Final drive. Bearing failures and expensive. ABS repairs became the motorcycle's most infamous concerns. But even today, high-mileage examples still regularly sell between roughly $4,500 and $9,000 because experienced riders know something unusual about this motorcycle. And by this point, you are probably noticing a pattern. The motorcycles on this list were not built around trends. They were built around mechanical survival. If that kind of old-school over-engineering still matters to you, hit that like button and subscribe. Channels only keep making deep-dive motorcycle breakdowns like this when riders who genuinely care about long-term engineering show up and support them. The R1150 GS became famous because it could survive journeys most motorcycles would never even attempt. Riders circled the globe on them, stacked impossible mileage onto boxer engines, and treated breakdowns like rare events instead of expectations. But adventure durability still asks riders to tolerate compromise. Wind noise, fatigue, weather exposure, and long hours carrying physical strain. Eventually, engineers in Japan chased a completely different idea for the next machine. Not just surviving endless miles, but making hundreds of thousands of miles feel almost effortless. Number 6. Honda Goldwing GL1300. Some motorcycles eventually wear out their owners emotionally. The Honda Goldwing GL1300 usually did the opposite, because after years of ownership, many riders stopped thinking about whether the motorcycle would survive the trip at all. The machine simply became part of life itself, always ready, always smooth, always impossibly dependable. And that reputation did not happen accidentally. Honda engineered the Goldwing with a level of mechanical restraint that bordered on obsessive. At the center sat a liquid-cooled flat six, so refined, so understressed, and so mechanically calm that it rarely felt like it was working hard at all. Highway speeds felt effortless, passenger weight barely disturbed it. Even fully loaded touring setups seemed unable to strain the engine. That smoothness became the foundation of its legendary durability. Inside the touring world, motorcycles crossing 200,000 miles became common conversation. Then came examples with 300,000. Eventually, riders documented Goldwings pushing beyond 500,000 miles while still operating on original engines. At that point, the motorcycle stopped feeling normal. The shaft drive eliminated constant drivetrain wear. The transmission absorbed enormous touring loads without protest. Massive cooling capacity kept operating temperatures stable during brutal summer travel, while the aluminum chassis handled staggering weight with remarkable composure. And perhaps most impressive of all, the motorcycle rarely demanded dramatic maintenance to survive. Fluid changes, timing belt service, suspension, upkeep, cooling maintenance, and routine inspections handled most long-term ownership needs. Of course, no giant machine escapes criticism. Early models developed frame heat concerns, while aging electronics and suspension components eventually became expensive to repair. And at low speeds, the motorcycle's sheer size could intimidate even experienced riders. But catastrophic engine failures? Those stories remain surprisingly rare. Today, older high-mileage Goldwings still regularly command between roughly $6,000 and $15,000. Because experienced touring riders understand something unusual. The Goldwing DR1300 reached a level of durability that almost stopped feeling mechanical altogether. Flat six smoothness, overbuilt cooling systems, and engines capable of crossing several 100,000 miles made it feel more like a luxury locomotive than a motorcycle. But all that comfort came with enormous size and weight. For riders and police fleets who needed the same long-haul reliability in a sharper, more disciplined package, the search naturally moved toward the next machine. A motorcycle engineered to endure relentless daily service where downtime simply was not acceptable. Number 5. Honda ST1300. The Honda ST1300 is one of the clearest examples of a manufacturer accidentally building a motorcycle too well for its own good. Honda introduced it as a refined sport tourer, smooth, fast, comfortable. But over time, owners discovered something far more impressive hiding underneath the bodywork. This motorcycle was engineered with the durability margins of industrial equipment. At the center sat a 1,261 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled V4 engine producing roughly 125 horsepower. But the important detail was not the power. It was how little effort the engine seemed to require to produce it. At highway speed, the motor barely felt stressed at all. The cooling system was oversized, the shaft drive massively durable, and the internal components engineered with extraordinary mechanical tolerance. That formula created astonishing longevity. Within long-distance touring communities, 150,000-mile examples became common. Some crossed 200,000 miles while still operating with remarkable smoothness. Police fleets pushed them even harder through endless idling, aggressive acceleration, and non-stop operation. Yet the motorcycles continued surviving punishment that destroys ordinary touring machines. The aluminum chassis added another layer of confidence. Stable at high speed, calm under load, predictable across enormous distances. Everything about the motorcycle felt engineered for sustained operation instead of short-term excitement. Of course, it was not flawless. The motorcycle carried substantial weight, heat around the rider's legs bothered some owners, and valve servicing on the V4 engine could become labor-intensive. But catastrophic engine failures remained remarkably uncommon. Even today, high-mileage examples regularly sell between roughly $4,000 and $8,500 because experienced riders understand something unusual about the ST1300. The ST1300 proved reliability could coexist with precision engineering, but many riders still craved something with more presence and personality, leading naturally to the next. Harley, a heavyweight tourer that made durability feel larger than life. Number 4. Harley-Davidson Electra Glide. The Harley-Davidson Electra Glide survived by ignoring almost every modern rule about motorcycle engineering. Big, heavy, air-cooled, old school. On paper, this should have been the kind of machine that slowly disappeared as technology advanced. Instead, it became one of the most enduring touring motorcycles ever built. And Harley-Davidson may have accidentally created a machine owners simply refused to replace. The secret was never top speed or cutting-edge performance. It was mechanical relaxation. The large displacement V-twin engines, especially the twin-cam and Milwaukee 8 generations, produced enormous low-end torque without constantly revving themselves into stress. At highway speed, the Electra glide rarely felt strained. The engine settled into a deep mechanical rhythm that felt less like a motorcycle and more like industrial equipment designed for endless interstate miles. And everything around that engine reflected the same philosophy. Massive crankshafts, heavy-duty transmissions, a steel touring chassis engineered to carry passengers, luggage, highway gear, and full-day riding loads without feeling fragile. Police departments, cross-country riders, and long-haul touring owners unintentionally became durability laboratories for the platform. And the motorcycles kept going. 100,000-mile Electra glides became common. 200,000-mile examples earned respect instead of surprise. Some riders pushed far beyond that, with original bottom ends still intact. Of course, the Electra glide had flaws. Oil leaks appeared on older generations. Certain cam chain tensioners became notorious maintenance concerns. And slow-speed handling demanded respect because of the motorcycle's enormous weight. But even high-mileage examples still commonly sell between roughly $5,000 and $15,000 today. Because experienced riders understand something important. The Electra glide earned loyalty through sheer mechanical presence. But traditional American touring engineering also carried old-school compromises, weight, heat, and handling limitations that became harder to ignore as technology evolved. That tension pushed the spotlight toward the next chapter, a machine engineered in Germany, where overbuilding was not just about mass, but about turning advanced technology itself into a long-term durability weapon. Number 3. BMW K1600 GT. By the time most manufacturers combine this much power, this much technology, and this much complexity into one motorcycle, durability usually becomes the sacrifice. Electronics age, systems fail, repairs multiply. But somehow, BMW engineered the K1600 GT to feel almost immune to the rules that normally punish luxury performance machines. And that is what makes this motorcycle so difficult to explain. Because on paper, it should have become a maintenance nightmare years ago. At the center sits a 1,649 cubic centimeter inline six, producing roughly 160 horsepower and more than 95 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers sound intimidating, but the strange reality is the opposite. The engine barely feels stressed producing them. At interstate speed, the K1600 GT settles into a smooth mechanical rhythm that feels effortless, almost turbine-like. The inline-six layout naturally reduces vibration while distributing internal loads with remarkable balance across the drivetrain. And BMW engineered everything around that philosophy. A heavily reinforced shaft drive, massive cooling capacity, touring electronics designed for non-stop high-speed travel, an aluminum bridge frame stable enough to carry passengers, luggage, and full touring loads across entire states without losing composure. Most motorcycles feel tired after long-distance punishment. The K1600 GT feels like it was designed to live there. That is why high-mileage examples quietly became common inside touring communities. 100,000-mile motorcycles no longer surprise experienced owners. Some machines have pushed far beyond 150,000 miles, while still operating with original engines and drivetrains. Of course, sophistication brought risks. Early switchgear failures, electronic repair costs, and occasional clutch concerns reminded owners this was still an extremely advanced machine. But the truly remarkable part is this. The engine itself developed a reputation for aging slower than many riders expected possible. Today, high-mileage examples still regularly sell between roughly $9,000 and $18,000. Because seasoned touring riders understand something unusual about this motorcycle, the K1600 GT represented peak modern refinement, but complexity always increases long-term risk. That reality pushed many riders toward the next Honda, a motorcycle so mechanically simple it could be trusted almost anywhere on Earth. Number 2. Honda X FJR1300. There are motorcycles people admire for a few years, and then there are motorcycles that quietly survive for decades while everything around them changes. The Honda XR650L belongs in that second category. This machine was never designed to impress people with technology or luxury. Honda built it with a completely different philosophy. Make it simple enough to survive almost anywhere and strong enough to tolerate riders who would never treat it gently. And somehow, that formula created one of the most mechanically stubborn motorcycles ever sold to the public. At the center sits a 644 cubic centimeter air-cooled single-cylinder engine tuned with astonishing conservatism. The compression ratio remains low, internal stress stays manageable, and the engine never feels like it is operating near its actual limits. That matters enormously in brutal environments where heat, poor fuel, and neglect destroy more complicated motorcycles. The result is legendary longevity. Owners regularly report 30,000, 50,000, and even higher mileage figures, with surprisingly little engine work required. In XR communities, motorcycles with decades of abuse are still treated as perfectly trustworthy transportation instead of worn-out machines approaching retirement. But durability on the XR goes beyond the engine. The steel frame absorbs punishment that would fatigue lighter modern platforms. The suspension was engineered for genuine off-road violence instead of casual trail riding. The 5-speed gearbox feels massively over-prepared for the engine's torque output, and the absence of liquid cooling eliminates radiators, hoses, and additional failure points entirely. Maintenance stays wonderfully basic. Oil changes, valve adjustments, air filters, chain service. That simplicity became one of the motorcycle's greatest strengths because owners could repair it almost anywhere with ordinary tools. Of course, no machine escapes weaknesses forever. Countershaft, spline wear, and aging CDI ignition. Problems became known issues over time. But compared to the catastrophic electronic failures common on modern motorcycles, these problems feel surprisingly manageable. Even today, high-mileage examples regularly sell between roughly $3,500 and $5,500 because experienced riders understand something important. Do you like this breakdown so far? Then click that like button, and if you want to support the channel even more, become a member for early access to upcoming videos. Because the next motorcycle did not just earn a reputation for reliability, it became one of the few machines riders genuinely believe may outlast its owners. Number 1. Honda Goldwing GL1500. Some motorcycles are engineered to impress buyers during a short test ride. The Honda Goldwing GL1500 was engineered with a completely different mission: survive enormous mileage for decades without feeling mechanically exhausted. And that is exactly why riders began calling it the Toyota Hilux of motorcycles. Not because it was lightweight, not because it was sporty, but because this machine developed a reputation for absorbing punishment, distance, weather, passengers, luggage, and years of non-stop touring while barely seeming stressed by any of it. When Honda released the GL1500 in the late 1980s, they built it with a level of mechanical conservatism that feels almost impossible today. At the center sat a 1,520 cubic centimeter flat 6 engine so smooth and understressed that owners often described it as feeling more like industrial machinery than a motorcycle engine. Highway speeds felt effortless. Internal stress remained extremely low. The liquid cooling system kept temperatures stable for endless hours, while hydraulic valve adjusters dramatically reduced maintenance demands over massive mileage accumulation. And the results became legendary. Within touring communities, 100,000-mile Goldwings became completely ordinary. Multiple documented motorcycles crossed 300,000 miles, while some owners pushed even further with original engines still operating smoothly. In long-distance riding circles, a high-mileage GL1500 was often considered barely broken in. But the true secret was not only the engine, it was the entire platform surrounding it. The transmission was massively durable. The shaft drive eliminated constant chain wear. The frame prioritized stability over aggressive weight reduction, and the cooling and charging systems were engineered for uninterrupted long-haul operation across entire countries. Of course, no motorcycle this large escapes compromise. At over 800 pounds, the GL demanded respect at low speed, and neglected suspension components could eventually make older examples feel cumbersome. Yet mechanically, the motorcycle became almost mythical. Even today, clean high-mileage examples regularly sell between roughly $3,000 and $7,000. Because experienced riders understand something rare, these motorcycles were never built to be temporary. They were built to stay. And once you see machines engineered like this, ordinary motorcycles start feeling very different. Because behind the specs and marketing, there is a hidden category of bikes engineered so far beyond necessity that they quietly outlive expectations, owners, and sometimes even common sense. And this is where it gets dangerous, because this is only one layer of the story. The next video goes deeper into machines that make even these look restrained, so do not stop here. Click the next video and continue the road trip, because what comes next may completely reset what you think. Motorcycles are capable of surviving. Join our tribe by subscribing. If you want early access and want to support the channel, become a member. And do not forget to like this video.